Can your avoidant ex process the breakup from you while in a new relationship with the rebound, the woman he monkey branched? Quick answer, hell no. You cannot process the breakup. I don't care if he's on vacation. I don't care if they had a house together. I don't care if they have matching tattoos on their asses.
The Self-Hype Podcast.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Self-Hype Podcast. This week's episode, I'm answering your questions. I love this episode because if you don't follow me on Instagram, you should. But every week I ask the community, ask me a question, AMA, ask me anything. So I compile the best ones and I put it on a podcast episode. And these are very, really like things that we all go through. And it ends up being like a really personalized approach in terms of situations that you might deal with. We're going to be talking a lot about obvious avoidant attachment, obvious heartbreak, breakups, why guys do what they do, and a whole lot more of ratchet activities and actions from these dusty ass men. So let's jump into it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Questions. I don't know any other other ways to say questions. Coinky dinks. Yeah, that's all I got. I'm gonna stop while I'm ahead. I love these apps. Like I said, it's just like cool to kind of hear from the community, and like every week, kind of hear what everyone's struggling with or what everyone's working on, and just to feel interconnected. That's what it's all about. But yeah, let's just like jump in, shall we? Like I don't want to waste too much time just yapping away. This way we could get through as many questions as we can. And if you guys want to be on this episode and have your question answered, don't worry, I won't put you on blast. I don't say handles. But yeah, feel free to follow me on IG and take advantage of that AMA feature. So this is kind of annoying. I have Netflix behind me and it keeps kind of showing the different screens. So I'm going to awkwardly reach for my remote. Keep this in, Ahmad. Keep all this in. Oh, okay. All right. This is all in. I know everyone's like, Eli, what the hell is going on in my eardrums right now? Sorry, I had to reach and turn off the remote because the screen was annoying me. Okay. Okay, we're back. This is great. All right, sounds good. Cool. Let's jump. What's that? Let's jump into it. Oh, okay. So the first question is, I'm trying to let myself feel everything. It's going pretty well, but some days hit me hard. Why? Okay, so I'm assuming this is a context through a breakup. So I'm trying to let myself feel everything. I'm doing pretty well, but some days are hard. So the way you have to understand heartbreak is it's grieving. They've done studies on this. It's literally you are grieving a loss, and you're grieving a person. This is your person. This is the most emotionally vulnerable you've ever been with someone, your ride or die, your partner, and someone that you might even consider to spend the rest of your life with. So to have them disappoint you or have them hurt you, or maybe the relationship just didn't work out and you have to end that is a major identity shift in terms not only yourself and who you are, but also what this individual is, but also what you guys made and created together. So your nervous system's going through all over the damn place. It's like, and again, they've done studies on this too. Heartbreak is like a drug. It literally is like you're addicted to someone, something, and it feels good. It feels great. So, yeah, it's literally like a drug. So it makes sense. You're processing, and processing sometimes doesn't feel good. Everyone thinks like, well, I just want to feel good. I just want to feel good. And this is what I tell my coaching clients all the time is, it's not about feeling good. It's about holding yourself despite the emotional response. It's about knowing that your nervous system's doing the work, even when you don't feel like it, even when it doesn't feel good, even when it's frustrating. But like, this is you processing things like bad dreams, nightmares of you thinking he's with his first ex-girlfriend before you and they're so happy together and you're alone and sad. That's you processing. That's your brain trying to figure all this out. And it will get better. because we are products of adaptation. It will get better because we're byproducts of neuroplasticity. And I know that's like, what are all these big words, Eli? I'm just sad today. At the end of the day, you're going to be fine. And it's the pain's going to be here anyway. So what matters is what you do about it, what actions you take with that pain. We could either go to the bar or we could stay sober and go do a yoga class. So it's up to you. Um, okay, next question. Moving on from an avoidant, why do I feel anxious or guilty? So again, it's your brain freaking out. I know it's like it's weird when we talk about psychology and like brain stuff. Because it could be so frustrating. Because we know logically that he's for the streets. We know logically he's not a good. We know logically all these different things, but it doesn't change the fact that we are emotionally driven creatures and we live off of emotion. And that emotion and how we navigate that emotion is why we survived this long as a species. So, you going through pain, are you going through loss, are you losing out on someone? It's really deep seated in biology. You got to think about it. Like we are tribe, like we are pack animals. We are tribism. The way we survived was through having community and being together. If we are alone, then that feels unsafe. That feels scary. That feels like not good. And I don't mean I just want to stay home and doom scroll and watch Bridgerton instead of go out with my girls. No, it's not having someone that feels very scary. So when you go through this tribe mentality of having a partner and having a support system and having someone you can lean on, and let's call it what it is, we are in a love society that you do get like an invisible badge for being in a relationship. So not having all these things, your brain's constantly figuring out, okay, how do I keep you safe? Okay, how do we figure this out? Okay, well, how do we get back to where we were? So it's like why your brain, like, let's go back to addiction. Why your brain wants to drink, knowing that you lost a relationship, knowing that you lost your job, knowing that it's destroying your life, doesn't change the fact that you want to keep drinking. So when it comes to people, our brain does all these things to try to make us go back to that feel good dopamine bonding tribalism, but it's in an unhealthy manner. It doesn't serve us to be back with him. So we could appreciate our brain trying to have us figure all this out and be guilty and drag ourselves and be hypercritical because you're thinking, well, if I did something different, then maybe I would still feel safe. If I did something different, then maybe he would still be here. If I did something different, then I would still feel regulated. But what we have to remind ourselves is that what you're talking about is just the moments of regulation in the relationship, not when you were dysregulated in the relationship. But at least you still had him. And that's just a big old addiction thing. So I told you I'm glad we jumped right into this because I could just yap for days on these questions. Okay. Let's see. Avoidant ex left me in March, got married in April, looks happy. Will I get my justice? Look at you sounding like Batman in these streets. Let's get injustice. What are you gonna put a cape on and beat the hell out of them in an alley for littering? I mean, like, okay, this is the thing. Will you get justice? And you want revenge off of ex who hurt you. You want revenge off of an ex who left you in March. Got me. Okay, so that's insane. So he left. Okay, wait. Actually, let me break this down a little bit. Boyd X left me in March, got married in April, looks happy. That's nuts. First off, I am so sorry you had to go through that. This man broke up and then walked down a damn. How do you even plan a wedding and within a month? Also, can we talk about how that's the most ratchet wedding in the world? Like, how do you, me as a homie saying, yo, my buddy Dave broke up with Stacy. Oh, it's too bad. I like Stacy. And then a month later, yeah, I'm getting married with this other woman. Like, who approved of this? Like, everyone at that wedding sitting there just giving side eyes like that. That's embarrassing. But if you dated someone who did that, I would be concerned for you. Someone who's willing to do something like that. That wasn't a healthy relationship. There's no way you could tell me that relationship was healthy. If a man is that emotionally, whew, that is extreme. But anyway, let's get to the point of the question. So, revenge. If you want revenge from an ex that hurt you, the best revenge is no revenge. And I know that pisses you off. I know that makes you angry. I know you want him to hurt the way you hurt. But the best thing you could do is not steep to his level. Great. You want him to feel pain. You want him to feel angry. You want him to feel all that. First, let's break down the fact that this wasn't personal. This was his character flaws of him not being able to get his head out of his ass because of whatever inner emotional turmoil that he has yet to address. That's on him. And that, again, character flaw. Does that serve us as a partner? Hell no. Are we happy that we're out of it? Yes. Does it still piss us off and hurt us? Also, yes. But what's the alternative? We have to subject ourselves to be on their level. If he's doing ratchet action and you want revenge, that means you have to steep to his level of ratchet action. And that's him having real power over you. That's him creating such an emotional reaction from you that you're willing to take disrespectful action towards yourself the way he did to himself. And that's how he really did a number on you. So you want a man not to have power over you. You want a man to be able to, you want freedom from that man. You really want to get back at him. Be fucking healthy. How about that? Set a damn standard that I will never be who this man is. I will never allow myself to even be remotely the sense of character this man has. And guess what? He will forever be trapped in his own trauma, never letting anyone come in, never letting anyone be able to hold him, never letting anyone be able to love him. And that's a life that I will never want to know about. So rather than stooping to his level, I'm going to ascend to a higher plane and make sure I never date a man like this. And also, when I'm in the future with my healthy partner and I raise my standard so I attract that same standard, not lower my energy, lower my frequency to just get back at him, that's the best revenge because I will be happy in a healthier relationship while he is still lurking through my phone while he's on a Disney trip with his other family. So that's my 2 cents with that. Let's keep it moving. Why do avoidants show love monetarily? Because it's safe and no need for emotion. Okay, money with men with money. So I don't know if I'll necessarily like attach like avoid an attachment to this. It could be. I mean, when it comes to like, yeah, they're not expressing their emotions, they're not expressing their needs. They're just paying for things. They're provider type partners, and that is we got to cut the shit first and foremost, ladies. I'm going to check y'all because I love y'all. Don't act like that's not an expectation that you have in a man. So, like, I know you want him to be emotional. I know you want him to have these feelings. I know you want him to open up. And I agree with you. He should, but he's not a woman. There is going to be expectations for him as a man and showing up as a partner, just like how you have expectations as a woman. And you could, mind you, you could create any life design that you want, but at the end of the day, there's a general social acceptance and expectation in men, and motion financially providing is one of them. But because that is so socially acceptable and it's been that way for so long, that's what little boys grow up normalizing. But you know what they don't normalize? Expressing their emotions and feelings. And we could drag men all day, but you are also a part of the patriarchy. You do want a man to be chivalrous. You do want a man to hold it down. You do want a man to roll up his sleeves and chop that damn wood and be a badass, all of that. You're turned on by that. And I don't blame you for it. But also, you're never gonna fully get exactly what you want in terms of emotional. It's like me wanting you to be into wrestling, but also be into baking. You know, like you could. I mean, that's possible. But I think, okay, she's not into wrestling. That kind of sucks, but she's a damn good baker. And at least she's open to watch wrestling with me. So I say all that to say is I know I'm kind of veering off topic here from the original question, but I think we have to remind ourselves that we're not the same, and that's a good thing. Because you don't want me to be like you. Don't act like you don't think my dude stuff is kind of hot. That's why you date me. That's why you're attracted to me. But mind you, I can't be disrespectful. Mind you, I shouldn't shut down. Mind you, we shouldn't create patterns that are non-sustainable and healthy. Don't act like you don't like me being a man, because I love you being a woman. But there should still be communication and respect. But to answer your question, yes, money is a easy way. It's kind of like your dad who doesn't know how to express himself emotionally. So what does he do? He gives you like $10, $20 to go buy some ice cream, or he like goes fixes your sink or your car. And that's his way to say, I love you and I'm here for you. And there's a level of acceptance to that, but you have to check yourself and say, okay, where am I at in the broad spectrum of men's emotions and openness? And what can I look past, or what can I accept, and what can I not accept? And I don't think you're settling for that. So something else to consider. Let's see. Eli, dismissive avoidant that shifted the blame on you, aka false narrative for preservation. Does it ever fade? Okay, so a DA shifted the blame on her. He's creating a false narrative. He's pretty much making her look bad. Does it ever fade? His thoughts of you will ever fade? Probably not. If he's actually doing the work on himself and taking accountability, then he could look at his past relationships and say, okay, I wasn't the best. But he's not doing that. So he's deep up his own ass. And honestly, he might not 100% be wrong, but he also should be taking some accountability. Um, and that's the real of it. That's why you got to find men that are emotionally accountable. You have to find men that aren't going to call their exes crazy. You got to find men that actually take accountability for the breakup and heartbreak. I'm telling you, if he's not doing that, you're going to be the next crazy one. So it's really important. Let's see. X with rebound, and he's lurking on my page on vacation with her. You guys always bring up like, oh, Eli always talks about Cabo and girl and my ex sucking his toes at Cancun and all this other stuff. They do that. They out here doing that. They're out here paying for flights while still having freaking feelings for your ass. That's why I say all these women are just an unhealthy coping mechanism. All these women are just, it's like drugs, it's like weed, it's like drinking, it's like any sort of like unhealthy coping mechanism to face yourself. When it comes to men, women are a part of it. I can't believe that, Eli. That's terrible. Hey, you're ratchet too in your own way. You over here falling for every damn love bomber. He just met you on the app and he already wants to like marry you and put a ring on your fingers and toes. And you're like, okay, daddy. Like, don't come at me like you're perfect, first and foremost. But let's break it down a little bit of why that's the case. So, left unchecked, the one thing we don't talk about with men and in general women too is mental health, attachment styles, emotional regulation, conflict resolution. That's not in school. So we're going off of just media. We're going off of just expectations just socially. And if you're a young man, you develop a practice of talking to women. Our job is to ask you out. Our job is to say, hey, what's up? You're beautiful. Hey, can I take you out? And don't act like you don't like it when guys do that. But so if that's the culture, and I'm a young man growing up, then I think my self-worth is tied to women. I think I have a moment of reminding myself that I matter if I get a number or if I get a match or a woman wants to go out with me. If I'm insecure, then my ego needs that external validation. So, and women do it too, not as common as men, but like there is this external validation of knowing that you still got it. And if you've done that your entire life, then that's the only thing you've known that made you feel good or at least feel in control. And that's the big thing is just feeling in control. But I think a lot of men don't have the self-awareness of what they're even doing. They just truly believe that you're the enemy because you made them feel so anxious and terrible and awful and shut down. And this woman makes them feel good, even though they're not aware of the fact that they just met this woman and they're going to go through the same damn thing over and over again. But if they're looking at your social, it's the clearest sign in the world that it's just an emotional outburst. These women are just, and guess what? They might stay together. They might be together for a while. A lot of these people just develop false narratives if they're not really having these real conversations. The real talk, everyone's just living off autopilot. That's the reality of it. And it's not even like what you're aware of when you're regulated, it's what you respond to when you're dysregulated. And I want everyone to receive that when I say it. Because you could say, I want a man that's this, and I don't want a man that's that, and I want a man that's this, and I don't want a man that's that. And then who you ended up, bouncing on? Some ratchet ass motherfucker that don't even own a car. So But he makes you feel anxious. But he's super charming. But you're filling in the blanks of what this could be. And that's based on a whole lot of inner turmoil on your end of wanting to be wanted. So that's what we have to call out consciously and make the hard, scary decision that we don't feel like doing. And that's letting that guy go. Um, all right, let's keep it moving, huh? Are avoidants also avoidant with their children? So this is I like this question because I really want to frame two things. One, I think a lot of people get confused of what avoidant attachment is. A lot of people say, like, well, he hasn't asked me on a date. Is it because he's an avoidant? No, Cheryl, he doesn't like you. That's why. It if oh he hasn't texted me. Is it because he's an avoidant? No, he doesn't like you. Or what avoidant attachment is the inability to express oneself in conflict and emotional dysregulation. So I shut down versus expressing. I slow process and I can process alone versus processing with you. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not, of course, it's not ideal, but you could be self aware of that and work with those parts. Because again, it's no one's going to college and choosing the fraternity to be an avoidant man to make women's lives difficult. That's not, and the only reason why you hate avoidant men is because they're reflections of your own anxiety and insecurities. That's it. Like if you were actually secure, you wouldn't have dated him for as long as you did. I'm calling your ass out because I love you. That's the reality of it. We don't date avoidant men. I mean, like in a relationship with an avoidant man, like a toxic avoidant man, because there's avoidants that aren't toxic if we didn't call ourselves out and really put our foot down and normalize and establish a standard of communication. Okay. So again, I like giving this accountability just because that's where the work is in terms of helping you find partnership. So, um, but can they be avoidant with their kids? So based on what we just said, yeah, they totally can. But in the context of, again, conflict, in the context of expressing feelings and emotions, like I'll put it this way. My dad, I love him to death. Again, I love my father so much, and he's grown up a lot. But he is not perfect, and there is a level of avoidancy. There's a level of avoidancy in my mom. And if anything, I'm the one that wants to have these damn conversations, and everyone's scared of me because I want to be direct. But a lot of people can't do that because they get overwhelmed emotionally. So, and it can happen with children and parents because children are a really soft spot with parents, especially if you're not a narcissist. You feel bad. You feel bad for failing them. You feel bad as a parent. That's like such a core identity. So if you disappoint your children, rather than having to face it and deal with it, maybe you'll just avoid it altogether to just not have to look at the piss, in the corner that you peed on. So that could be a dynamic in the workplace. That could be a dynamic in the family dynamic. That my avoidant attachment could show up anywhere, more than just relationships. It could show up with friendships. It could show up with work dynamics. It could show up with anything and everything. So, but I have to call those patterns out. If I have a conflict with a friend and I notice me pulling back, or I notice me shutting down, or I notice me like having some resentment, it's like, oh, I'm doing it right now. Okay, I have to share how I feel. I have to express myself here. And not a lot of people can handle that. And you got to just love them from a distance and adjust the relationship so it's sustainable to you. So hopefully that's helpful. Okay, I'm gonna do one more. Can he fully process the breakup while in a new relationship with the person they monkey branch? No, they can't. You cannot process a breakup if this is gonna be the clip. This is gonna be the IG clip. All right, so Ahmad, use this one. Can your avoidant ex process the breakup from you while in a new relationship with the rebound, the woman he monkey branched? Quick answer, hell no. You cannot process the breakup. I don't care if he's on vacation. I don't care if they had a house together. I don't care if they have matching tattoos on their asses. He cannot do that. It's so difficult to learn how to walk while you have crutches. It helps you. It's a great distraction. It's a great support to help you get to the bathroom and back. But ultimately, you got to let the crutches go. Ultimately, you have to learn how to walk. And what these people are, again, are crutches. Your nervous system takes time to process trauma, loss, grieving. Okay. I'm not going to lose someone that I love and then, like, say a loss or grieving process and then immediately go on vacation and think I'm going to have a good old time. It's going to distract me. I'm going to go on the cruise and zip on some drinks and maybe chat with some people. But when I go home at night and my brain slows down, I'm going to be thinking of that person that I lost. And that's not me being fully present with that person. The thing about avoidance is they're good at performing. And they're good at performing because it's this people-pleasing function. It's this wanting to be wanted function. It's this dopamine hit. It's like, I don't want to face this. I don't want to face myself. So I'm going to go and receive all this dopamine. So to answer your question, no. That's why they look at your social. That's why they reach out way later. That's why all these things are happening. And you're hearing it from the source. I could love the person. I could be really excited about the person. I could have a whole relationship with the person, but it doesn't mean that I'm still not processing someone else. And that's not being present. That's not being honest. And that's not having a healthy relationship, despite how happy you are. Thank you all for listening to this week's episode. Hopefully you guys got some insight with the questions and everything else. And again, I know these questions are so important. I know you really want to know, and know that I try my best to give you what you want on a surface level, because that's what this really is. Like, these questions are stemming from your own fear, own insecurity, own anxious attachment of like, what is he doing? What is he doing? I need to figure this out. And your own rumination and looping. But by me feeding into that is not going to take away the negative emotion of you feeling abandoned, essentially. So what we have to nurture is the abandonment. What we have to nurture is the narrative that you're not enough. What we have to nurture is the feeling and emotional state that you're in. So you're not constantly thinking that thinking is going to be the solution. You can't think your way out of an emotional action and a feeling-based response. So again, that's the work I do with my clients. Is I will give you the surface level answer, but let's get deep into accountability and start shifting the core wound here. And that's really what it's all about. So we have 8-week boot camps that focuses on all this stuff. I go in with everyone personally on their childhood and their upbringing, on their attachment style and all that. We use all this data to challenge and reshape your life so you never end up in these situations again. And we have a whole lot of fun while we're doing it. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, a link in the show notes, 8-week boot camp. We're always running them every month. And yeah, just be proud of yourself. Like, if you're listening to this podcast and challenging yourself, just like after listening to this episode, think of just like one thing you could call yourself out on, one challenge, one new action, and get a different result. And you're going to be just fine. See you next week.
The Self Hype Podcast.